Ever buy shoes? You have? She's bought shoes. Let me ask you a question. You go buy the shoes. You ever go to the shoe store? Well, I don't know. It's Zappos. Maybe she's Zappos. I just want to make, you've been to a store. You're young. You might have been to the Zappos. So she goes to the school. See, she knows about them too. You could tell. The shoe store. She's like, no, don't mess up that word. That's my favorite place. You go to the shoe store, right? You go and you sit down and you say, I want those. I want to try those on. Ever do that? There's a gal or a guy there, correct? And they get you the shoes. Here's my question. Are they representing you? No. Did you ever say when you were trying on the shoes, hold up, I'm a little concerned here. I'm feeling like you're taking advantage of me. And before we go further, I want to go get my own shoe agent and then buy these shoes. You ever have that conversation? Never, right? What's my point? Isn't the shoe salesperson doing a direct deal? What is a direct deal? They're the listing agent, aren't they? They got the shoes. They're the selling or renting agent. They found the buyer or tenant. Isn't that true? The point is that you get money for doing a direct deal, being the listing agent and the selling or renting agent. Not necessarily for who you represent while being the listing agent or the selling or renting agent, just like the shoe salesman. I'm going to say that again so we could get that epiphany. You can have someone unrepresented tenant, unrepresented landlord, and still get credit for both sides of the transaction by having no one else representing that unrepresented person. True? So what's my point? Can't you do a direct deal that's not dual agency? That's the epiphany, everyone. I want you to get there with me. Dual agency doesn't mean you have both parties. Dual agency means there's a known waiver of a conflict of interest on direct deals. But there's nothing to stop you from being a landlord's agent with an unrepresented tenant. And there's nothing to stop you from being a tenant's agent with an unrepresented landlord. Epiphany, isn't that? Just like the shoe salesman. And do you know why they stop and say, who's representing me? Because your anxiety throw up at them tells them to. The shoe salesman doesn't do that. The shoe salesman says, these are beautiful, try them on. Shouldn't you be saying the same thing? You follow what I'm saying there? You don't realize it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And you're communicating with how you're saying it, your anxiety. And by your anxiety being communicated like that, the people are having a panic attack. And because they're having a panic attack, they stop the whole transaction and you're losing one side. Why are you having the panic attack? Because you haven't embraced a simple concept. You don't get paid for who you represent in a transaction. You get paid for who you bring to the transaction. Saying it one more time. You don't get paid for who you represent in the transaction. You get paid for who you bring to the transaction. Agency is not about who you bring to the transaction. Agency is about who you represent while you bring them to the transaction. Consequently, you can do a direct deal with a landlord's agent and an unrepresented tenant and get paid both sides. Consequently, you can do a direct deal as a tenant's agent with an unrepresented landlord and get paid both sides. Consequently, you could do a dual agency and get paid both sides. They should all work equally lovely for you since you're getting paid both sides.